So in C3 you may be expected to write an expression in the form Rcos x plus alpha or R sine x plus alpha, and it allows you to write expressions where you've got an A sine x plus B cos x just in terms of sine or cos, so it's quite a useful method. So the method is, the first thing you do is find R. This is incredibly easy to do. So for example, if we've got express sine x minus root 3 cos x in the form R sine x minus alpha, we just look at the coefficient of sine and the coefficient of root 3, coefficient of sine and the coefficient of cos, and use Pythagoras. So in this case we've got 1 sine x and we've got minus root 3 cos x. So to find R, it's just 1 squared plus 3 squared square rooted. It doesn't matter whether it's a plus or minus for the root 3, because when you square it, it will be positive. So we get that R is root 10. So in general, R is equal to A squared plus B squared square rooted, where we're looking at an expression of the form A sine x plus B cos x. Once you've found R, you then need to look at your formula book, and you need to choose the correct formula. So in this case, the question's told us to find R sine x minus alpha. So we find the formula for sine of A minus B. Write it out exactly as it is in your formula book. And then underneath, write that as sine of x minus alpha, as the question gives you. So sine x cos alpha minus cos x sine alpha. And you then compare. You compare this to the question. So the question was sine x minus root 3 cos x. So I've got sine x, which is 1 sine x, minus root 3 cos x. So the sine x matches with the sine x, the cos alpha matches with the 1, the cos x matches with the cos x, and the sine alpha matches with the root 3. And the sign's correct because I've chosen the one with the negative sign in it, which is sine of A minus B. Once I've matched it, I then look at the trig part of it. So the 1 matches to cos alpha and the root 3 match to sine alpha. So that means that sine alpha is actually root 3 over R. The R is the hypotenuse. So sine alpha equals root 3 over R. Go back to the first thing you did, which was to find R, and in this case R was equal to root 10. So I know that sine alpha is root 3 over root 10, and therefore I can find alpha from my calculator. Once you find alpha, just do a couple of checks. Usually it's in radians, but just make sure. And also check if you're asked to write alpha to a particular number of significant figures. And that's your answer then. You've got R sine x minus alpha, and you've written it in the form you've written sine x minus root 3 cos x in the form R sine x minus alpha. R was the square root of 10, and alpha you found from doing inverse sine of root 3 over root 10. Very often with these questions you might be asked to find minimum values or maximum values, and what you need to remember is that the maximum value for sine x minus alpha is plus 1. So the maximum value of this will be R times 1, which will be R, and that will happen when sine of x minus alpha is equal to 1. You're used to solving trig equations like that in C2, and similarly the minimum value will be when sine of x minus alpha is negative 1, so the minimum value will be minus R.